combined collective goal of increasing college attainment. You probably have heard these statistics, but if you haven't, Indiana sits 40th in the nation in college attainment at roughly 33%. In the regions of, if you look at the workforce regions 5 and 6, I look at it, for me, I look at it from the Ivy Tech, East Central, and Richmond regions, which I also oversee the Richmond region. Our college attainment rates, county by county, range from the high teens to about 32% at the high end. So we lag behind the state, which the state then lags behind the nation. Who do we compete with? Who are the states that are below Indiana? They're states like Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, Oklahoma, Nevada, kind of an outlier, Louisiana, Mississippi. They're predominantly southern states. And we think of ourselves here in Indiana, we're a Big Ten state, right? We're one of 3 states in the Big Ten that have 2 Big Ten universities. My goodness, we're a Big Ten state. How many Big Ten states have college attainment rates lower than Indiana? 0. 0. And we have 2 Big Ten universities. The closest is Ohio. They're 2% higher. Minnesota sits with 47% college attainment. That's who we're competing with when it comes to jobs. I do a lot of work with the economic development agencies across our region, the communities, as we're attracting and retaining and expanding business. Ohio is 2% higher than us. Michigan's 3% higher. Those are the states from a Big Ten standpoint that we most often compete with. And if I'm the economic development person in Michigan, I'm going to say, why are you looking in Indiana? They don't have the workforce. You heard it. We're challenged from a workforce standpoint. So this is our combined collective opportunity to make a difference. When I think about it, first of all, I think about the challenges. I'm going to spend this much time there, and then I'm going to talk about the opportunities we have, and then some perhaps immediate next steps. The cost of higher education is increasing faster than the rate of inflation, and even more troubling, faster than the rate of the cost of healthcare. Our president, Tom Snyder, not that long ago, sat down was in the same room with President Obama, and he said, college presidents, I got some interesting information for you here. And he talked about the fact that, higher ed is cost more, increasing at a rate faster than healthcare. And we all, right, go, ugh, with the rising cost of healthcare. That's a challenge for families across the state of Indiana and across the country. Generational poverty is an issue that we all deal day in and day out with families who have a life of generational poverty, the impact that has on education at the K-12 levels, and certainly at the college level. And those are the things that I get most passionate about. Community college students, by their very nature, are among college students probably the poorest. If we were to make broad, sweeping statements of college students, the East Central and Richmond regions are in the 2nd and 5th percentile. Not the top 2%, or the top 5%, the bottom 2% or bottom 5% in median household income. There are lots of initiatives and programs that help students with significant financial need. That's probably not their biggest barrier. That's probably not the biggest challenge that they face. The number of high school graduates who aren't going anywhere after high school, depending on the county, ranges anywhere from the high 20s, right around 30%, to in some of our more rural counties, approaching 55% of the students aren't going anywhere post-high school. There's a huge opportunity for us to figure out how to tap into that group of high school graduates and get them moving in opportunities, whether it's apprenticeships, whether it's a one-year or short-term certificate or an associate degree, and preparing them to transfer. We struggle with, and it's related to these last couple of items, of college-going culture. We talked about that already this morning. So let's talk about opportunities. We've got to increase that number of students going somewhere, some form of post-secondary education and training beyond high school. We've got to address that. We have to increase the success once they get into college. And I want to tell you about a couple things, a handful of things that we're doing at Ivy Tech. We've seen significant gains in retention, meaning students that stay from semester to semester, leading to higher numbers of completions. We have shifted to a meta major. We talked about students need a plan. 18-year-olds, can they really know exactly what they want to do? That's another conversation that we have in our house. That's mainly my wife and I. But we know students without a plan struggle. So they need a plan. And that's why we've set up Ivy Tech now in terms of kind of this group of meta majors. So if I think I want to go into healthcare and I'm absolutely convinced I want to be a nurse, and they find out nursing's a limited enrollment program, I can't get in, I can't get in Ball State, I can't get in IWU, I can't get into, fill in the blank. Man, there are great opportunities in respiratory therapy and surge tech and. So let's, advise and move students into groups of majors as opposed to you've got to figure it out right now. We've got to get you moving down the path with a plan. We've done a lot. We talked about math. We've done a lot with how we have redesigned. We've actually totally revamped our math curriculum and alignment to programs. We now have 3 tracks of math programs. And Dr. Sloan, if I get off track here, throw something at me, yell at me, whatever, get me back on track. We have 3 tracks. There's a STEM track, which is the college algebra track. Okay, if you're going to go into engineering, if you're going to go into an associate degree, the non-applied associate degree, there's a good likelihood that you're going to be in Math 136. We got to get you down that algebra track. But frankly, for the majority of our majors at Ivy Tech, the skill set you need in mathematics is around quantitative reasoning. So we've redesigned our math to have a Math 123. My daughter took Math 123 this past semester. It is a tough class. It's not, well, that's just, it's not the STEM track. So we're going to have a lesser, oh my goodness, no. It is a tough class. It's a lot of Excel. For her final project in class, they said, what's your degree? This is the degree I'm seeking. I'm going into early childhood education. Average wages are this. You need to figure out what kind of house you're going to buy, where you're going to buy it, what the mortgage rates are going to be, what your payment is going to be on a monthly basis. Do you go 15? Do you go 30? That's all part of very real, practical math, statistics, and so forth that, frankly, you and I use every day. The third track is the technology track. And this is an applied, contextualized math. Again, it isn't taking math and we're going to take it to a lowest common denominator. These are students in our machine tool and many of our technology programs. And if we were to say to students that most often go into these career fields, you're going to be doing trig and so forth, they're going to say, oh no, I'm not good at math. I don't want to do it. They do it in our tech math classes. And we've set it up in a way that the students are being incredibly successful with this. We have huge math success rates. We see math and English as 2 of the primary barriers to students being successful in college. So we revamped, repositioned math based on their program of study and making sure that they're successful. The other piece that we've done with that, and it's happening in varying levels around the country, is how we redo remediation. We know that students that come in traditional track of, math, oh whatever, English, oh whatever, to get them ready for math whether, historically, whatever has a 1 in front of it, college level math. Historically, in 1 to 3 years, a student, 27%, or is it 37 in math? I just saw the numbers yesterday. Doesn't matter, 27 to 37% of the students are gonna make it through that sequence. In 1 to 3 years, that probably also means multiple attempts to get there. That's a bad scenario. So we've taken, both in math and in English, and taken the remedial course and the college level course and put them in the same semester. 1/3 of honors diploma students who come to Ivy Tech still need 1 or more remedial courses. Honors track. Okay? What does that often mean? It means maybe they didn't take math in their senior year and their skills slip. So when you take math 1 whatever and O whatever and pair them together in the same semester, because it's not all of your math skills that are lacking, it's this piece and that piece. You align it, it's just-in-time remediation, you get it, you apply it, and now we're seeing 60% success rates, not in 1 to 3 years, in 1 semester. The side benefit of that, those students who are receiving Pell Grants in particular, that may have, because of failing classes or withdrawing from classes, ended up in a troubling path that could jeopardize their financial aid. Get it done in 1 semester. We're taking away that problem. And students are being successful. And we have not yet lowered any standard for college attainment. So we think that's an incredibly positive thing. Our opportunities as well. We need to continue to align curriculum, align the pathway from middle school to high school to Ivy Tech to our 4-year partners, whether or not Ivy Tech's in that equation. Okay? We've got to strengthen that continuum from a curriculum standpoint. We're working with an IMCP group, that's Manufacturers and Community Partnership. Muncie, Anderson, and Newcastle, the communities have come together and we've developed a manufacturing pathway. And one of the primary things that we're working on is that continuum of workforce development, reaching down into, certainly into the high school, down into the middle school, all the way through from a work one standpoint, how do we align all of this so that we're moving forward together. In that case, it's a manufacturing solution. But it could be a healthcare solution, it could be a construction solution. There are lots and lots of good things going on there, but there's a greater opportunity. What our manufacturers tell us is that there are all the parts and pieces there. We just don't do a very good job of aligning them so that we're serving our students best and employers best, and therefore our communities. Dual credit is a huge, huge opportunity. In the East Central and Richmond regions this year, we'll serve 4,600 students with dual credit opportunities. Last year in the East Central region, families saved just from Ivy Tech alone. That doesn't include what happened with Ball State or what happened with Vincennes, but Ivy Tech alone, $2.25 million in tuition avoidance. You want to talk about making the change in college-going culture? Dual credit is an important part of that scenario because they have to be college ready. So if I'm college ready, whether I'm at a career center taking technical dual credits, or whether I'm at a high school taking whatever form of dual credit, they're college ready when they're taking those courses. Again, the opportunity there is how do we create better pathways? So it's not just I'm taking this one, I'm taking this class and that class, but it's an actual plan. For example, at Muncie Central High School, we have an associate degree path. The student, by the time he or she completes high school, can have earned not only the high school diploma, but a dual credit associate degree from Ivy Tech. Zero cost. How do you lower the cost? These are the sorts of things that we have to do creatively in order to address the college attainment rate. Plan A. Ivy Tech is often seen as Plan B, or maybe a letter farther down the alphabet. Okay? I want to go to Ball State. I want to go to Indiana. I want to go to Purdue. I want to go where? Pick the four-year partner. For many of our middle-class families, I don't know how they're going to do it. So why not do a start here, get there? It doesn't have to be a second choice. It doesn't have to be third or fourth choice. It can be a very smart choice that helps families afford higher education. All right, what else? Summer school. Again, I'll go back to my daughter. There was nothing that she wanted to hear out of my mouth that was related to summer school. Yet when she started Ivy Tech, we had her start 2 weeks early, and she did the Intro to College class, IBYT 101, 2 weeks prior to the start of the semester. That gave her confidence that she can do college work, and it got her a head start. But there's far more important information about summer school than what you might be thinking about. Students who go to college over the summer are 50% more likely to persist than students who don't. Students who go to summer school are 50% more likely to stay in college and complete. That's huge. That also gets them out into the workforce sooner. Instead of paying, they're getting, they're earning a whole lot sooner, and they're much more likely to stay in college. Not all of our students are ready to do full-time enrollment. Forget 12, they're not ready to do 15. Okay, and many times they're not ready to do 12 credits in a given semester. But what we do know is students that stay at it and persist semester after semester after semester will graduate. But once they start that slippery path of, life's crazy, I need to take a semester off, it's a bad move. It may be a good move short term, but in the long run, it's a bad move. So we need students to be thinking about, we need families to be thinking about summer school, because it makes a huge, huge difference. So let's talk about next steps. A couple closing comments, and then I'm done, and we'll get you off to lunch and get you next door to see Magna. Speaking of that, I have employers telling me all the time, if you want to get students into our business, ask. We want students in our business. They're very interested in internships and co-op opportunities for our students. We want you and your students to come see Ivy Tech. Claire Berger, who's our Dean of the School of Technology, would love, with our faculty, to show you Ivy Tech, to have our students get a sense of Ivy Tech. That's just here in Muncie. We'll do it in Anderson. We'll do it in Newcastle. We'll do it in Richmond. We'll do it in Marion. We'll do it in Fort Wayne. I don't care. You want to go to an Ivy Tech campus, we will gladly open our doors. I just committed Jerry in Fort Wayne to open her doors. Well, of course she'll do it. ASAP is a huge opportunity. If you don't know what ASAP is, it's a one-year accelerated program. It starts in the summer, ends in May. Students complete an associate degree in 11 months. And for students with significant financial needs, they're not going to pay anything. And they'll probably have a little bit extra money to help them through their life situation. Okay. 1 year accelerated setup to transfer wherever they want to go. Great, great opportunity. We need to celebrate dual credit. I talked about dual credit a minute ago. Last year we were part of the pre-graduation ceremonies at Westdell and at Delta, and then also Richmond, Wayne County Schools, celebrating the number of dual credit college credits that students have when they graduate. We saw many students with 3 credits, but we saw students with 36 college credits. 36, that's more than a year's worth of college. 3. Okay, so we got to find opportunities to celebrate. College Bowl Sunday, this Sunday. Have we talked about that yet? Nope. This Sunday, 2 to 4. Okay, I know for sure that we're here in Muncie, we're in Anderson, at the 53rd Street campus. I know at the John Jay Center in Portland we'll be there. Ivy Tech Fort Wayne. So what is that? Get your FAFSA filled out. Okay, March 10th is a critical date in the state of Indiana if you want access to state aid. Okay, if you're after March 10th, still have opportunity with federal aid and so forth, but not tapping into opportunities from the state aid standpoint. Critical. So come in, students come in with parents, come fill out the FAFSA. It's scary, but we got folks there. I filled it out for the first time with our daughter last year. It's doable. Even I figured it out. 21st century scholar students, you know this, they're changing what I would call the hoops you have to jump through to be eligible when they go to college. So make sure that we're helping students stay up on that. And then finally for the employers in the room. Here's the deal that Ivy Tech will make with you. I know most of you have tuition reimbursement programs, whether it's, pay 100% or we pay based on the grade you earn. We will defer the tuition due date to after the semester so that the employee doesn't have to front load the money and you don't have to. Now, the bill comes due at the end of the semester, so somebody has to pay for it. But we can delay that so that we increase the likelihood, because families and employees in many jobs, to even, for Ivy Tech credit, a 3-credit class, $300-400, that's still a lot of money, and then you throw a book on top of it, now it's $1,000, now it's, $400 or $500. Where am I going to find it? We'll help you by deferring that, and that's a commitment we'll make to you. So there you go. Lots we can do together. It's about completion and college attainment. Thank you very much.
We talked about aha moments, and one for me was I never thought I'd ever hear the phrase delayed payment and college in the same sentence. Who knew? So thank you for that and all the wonderful information, both the context that you gave us, but also the very specific programmatic information as well. Last comment. People in this room, you know better than anybody the challenges that young people face. The good news is, folks from Harvard University have confirmed that America, including the state of Indiana, is still the land of opportunity. You can still move up the economic ladder in our country. We don't hear about that too much, especially after the Great Recession, but statistically it is true. But then we continue to hear about the kids who don't make it, and Harvard looks at 6 reasons, and it's very complicated because it's Harvard. But the number one thing that they talk about to go up those rungs of the economic ladder is education. It continues to be the great equalizer. And I would say at the Indiana Youth Institute, we serve in awe of you. We are so grateful for you. You know so well that there are too many kids who come from families where all present parents are working. Maybe it's only one parent, and she's playing by the rules and doing all she can to hold that family together. You also know some stories where the parents maybe hold the kids back. We hear those stories. But you think you're going to get ahead, you think you're going to go to college when we didn't, and you deal with that. We had the comment about substance abuse earlier. We have kids who are tempted by pop culture to make some decisions that won't benefit them in the long run. Kids who think because of what they see around them in their families, in their communities, that success is for somebody else, that possibility and opportunity are for somebody else. So why should I try? My work won't even matter, so I'm not even going to give it a shot. And there you stand, helping close the information gap. And we hope that that has happened today, closing information gaps that maybe you had, that now you can go back to those students and talk about advanced manufacturing, talk about agriculture, talk about the building trades, talk about what's available at Ivy Tech, close that information gap, But we also know what you do is you close that aspiration gap. You do look at them in the eye and you say, you know what, I think you are good at something. There is a job. I believe in you, you can make it. And probably even more than the information, that's what you're providing. We heard the comment about the mentoring program. At IYI, we facilitate the Indiana Mentoring Partnership, where we've helped recruit over 4,000 mentors for at-risk kids. Go to abetterhour.org, type in your zip code, you'll find a mentoring program near you that is wanting to partner with you to walk alongside you in your school and your after-school program. Again, our friends at the University of Indianapolis, their program is CEL. CEL UIndy is how they go by in social media, CEL UIndy. Watch for their conferences, watch for their trainings, watch for their resources, especially in the K through 12 education area. They're just premier. For our friends at the Indiana Chamber, Ready Indiana, would that be the best website, Amy, that you would recommend?
IndianaSkills.com.
IndianaSkills.com, thank you for that. And the Chamber, so many practical resources there at IndianaSkills.com. We talked about our friends from the Department of Workforce Development. IndianaCareerExplorer.org, Indiana Career Explorer, to get a good practical handle from our state government. We talked about the Indiana Commission for Higher Education. I'm sure everybody knows about the Learn More website and the magazines and the resources that they have. Dr. Baum mentioned the new Scholar Success Program for 21st Century Scholars. We need to make sure our high school kids who are 21st Century Scholars are aware of that. And again, at the Indiana Youth Institute, we have the Drive of Your Life website, we have the Trip to College texting service, and we have the big Post-Secondary Counseling Institute event coming up this summer where you get more of this over 2 days. And you met Allison Palmer, Michelle Wisely, Juanita Mejia Goodwell, our outreach managers. And my colleague Kate Kaufman is the most popular person in the room because she leads this initiative for us and she has instructions for lunch.
Trying not to push my boss off the
So
stage.
also, Kate will give you instructions. It's very important. Make sure you fill out your survey. These, whatever you like today, people who attended an event like this before you gave us the ideas for today. You can now pass it forward by filling out your surveys as well. So Kate, take us to lunch and the tour.
Yes, so we have a charter bus outside to drive us over